women are like pathetic or need a man or XYZ. And it's like, no, baby, back yourself.
Yeah,
back yourself.
We do need men, though. We do.
We don't need them.
We do.
No, because they're lesbians.
Why do so many women today say they don't need a man?
Because we're independent as hell.
Women need a man.
Right now? This day and age?
This day and age, absolutely. Yesterday's day and age.
Okay.
And
so,
tomorrow.
This day and age, no, a woman don't need a man.
Stop hitting me up, asking me where the bitch is at, bro. I do not know. I don't care. I honestly do not care where the bitch is at. They everywhere. They out here. They for everybody. I'm focused on my product. I'm focused on my passion. I'm focused on my purpose.
Because statistically, dating apps are much worse for men. The financial burden of dating is much higher on men. The amount of options that a single man has is usually much lower than the options a single woman has. Men who have a lot of options actually prefer to stay single because if they only want to hook up, they can hook up without real relationship. If a man is extremely busy with his career, it's probably easier to not date and get distracted by talking to multiple women at once than it is to just work. There's a huge percentage of attractive women that think that all men are trash and that men aren't dateable, and we're kind of sick of hearing that.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Alex. Shout out to the Elite Fleet. Make sure you like and subscribe so you can become a member of the Elite Fleet. And today I want to talk about how the black community is an example of how feminism and MGTOW are flawed philosophies that will lead their communities to hell. Now, before I get surgical on this topic, because please believe I'm about to get surgical on this topic, I'm letting you know right now, if you disagree, that's cool, but you better have a timestamp and you better have some type of statistical data or something behind what you're saying. If you come in the comments crying, and believe it or not, I'm not even talking to the feminists, because when I made this video before, it wasn't the women. The women were in agreement. It was the men who's coming in crying, hey, that's not true, this guy's a simp. No data, no nothing. Not attacking, no points, just crying and whining. If you come in crying and whining, I'm going to clown you, and then I'm going to delete you. But I'm going to clown you first, so that way you can see it, and then come back and see that you deleted. But anyway, let's get straight into this, because like I said, I'm about to get surgical. Now, everybody's talking about agendas, right? Everyone says, oh, there's an agenda against this, there's an agenda against that. It's the patriarchy, it's the gynocracy. But in my opinion, MGTOW and feminism is two things of the same coin, and they both prove to crush communities in the long run. And we're going to start with the black community, because the black community, being that we have no religion, being that we have no original land, okay, being that we have no leaders, being that we have no foundation in this country, everything gets tested on the black community first before it goes out to anyone else. So let's look at the black woman. The black woman should be the statue next to modern feminism in the book. Black women are queens of Miss Independent. Black women are queens of I don't need no man. What was it that Megan Thee Stallion said? I took a plan B because I don't plan to be stuck with you. What was it that Cardi B said? I don't cook, I don't clean. The queens of independence, the queens of modern feminism. Now, how has that worked out for them? They're also the most educated women in the country.
So I could focus on my career.
Now, before y'all start complaining, yes, I'm aware that that does include certifications and not just bachelor degrees, but it doesn't matter. A trade is still an education, it's still a degree, you can still work with it. So how has that worked for them? Well, yes, they've become the most educated woman in America, but guess what? Despite being the most educated woman in America, they're still the third lowest earning women in the entire country, followed only by Hispanic women, who are the next most independent women behind black women. That's it. Now, to be fair to black women, they're not that far behind Asian and white women. But at the end of the day, despite pressing their independence the most, despite being single the most, they're still behind Asian women and white women when it comes to how much money they're making. How has that worked out for their love life? Well, black women are the least likely to be married in the country, and they still have the highest divorce rate in the country. How has that worked out for their family life? Well, 75% of black kids are born to single mothers. So it hasn't worked out for them on a family standpoint. It hasn't worked out for them on a marriage or getting a man standpoint. And despite the fact that they are closing the gap, they're still the third lowest earners in the country, followed only by Hispanic women who are right behind them. And I'm going to bring up why that's important. Keep rocking with me, because we're about to spit facts now. Let's move over to the men, okay? Now let's look at black men. The kings are going their own ways. The kings are pickup artists. The kings are just smash and dash. Chicks ain't shit but hoes and tricks. The kings of that. Has it worked out for them? Has going their own way, has focusing on themselves, have not getting into families, not getting married, and leaving women alone unless they want to fornicate with them. Has that worked out for black men? Let's look at it. We always talk MGTOW. Men go their own way. Men focus on yourselves. You don't need women. Women are a distraction. Women keep you from the bag. Women this, women that. You'll be better off without women. Well, no one has walked away from their women the way that black men have been walking away from their women since the 1960s. Again, 75% of black women raising their kids by themselves. So if anyone has the freedom to focus on themselves, if anyone has the freedom to do what they want to do without restraints, it's black men, especially considering the fact that black men are the least likely to marry their women in the entire country. So they are free of handcuffs, they are free of alimony, they are free of restraint. And how has that worked out for black men? Well, black men are the third or the fourth, depending on which chart you're looking at, because black men and Hispanic men are like this in terms of earning, but they're the third or the fourth lowest earning race in this entire country. So depending on which poll you're looking at, black men are the lowest earners or they're the third lowest earners, but the gap is this big, it's that small, so it really doesn't matter. So financially, has going their own way worked for black men? Nope. Have they came up? Nope. Are they making six figures? Nope. They starting all these businesses? Nope. They making all this money? Nope. They making all these grand moves? Nope. This isn't an opinion. This is my fact. This is a fact, okay? Has it worked out for them in the family sense, okay? Nope. They're no more likely to get married than anybody else. They have the exact same divorce rates as everybody else. Because despite the fact that they're no more likely to be married, they don't even have their kids. So when they do go out there and they do have kids with these women and they inevitably leave these women to be by themselves, they don't even take their kids with them. They don't even get their kids the vast majority of the time. So it hasn't worked out for them in a relationship sense, unless you consider slaying random women and getting put on child support to be a win, because I don't. It hasn't worked out for them in a family sense or a relationship sense, because they still getting divorced in the same ratio and they ain't making no more money by results of moving on their own way or being by themselves. Now, the MGTOW philosophy would tell you, oh, if a man's by himself, he should be coming up. So why aren't black men the highest earners in this entire country, considering the fact that they go their own way the most? Now, I'm gonna hit y'all with some more facts. If you look at the highest earning families in the country, it is the Asian family, it is then the white families, it is then the Hispanic families, and it is then the black families. Now, if you look at the single parent household ratios in this country, right? Okay, it's the highest ones is black, and then it's Hispanic, and then it's white, and then it's Asian. So essentially, if you take the highest earning households, right, and you turn them upside down, then you have the single parent households. Let that breathe, run it back, because I know y'all probably didn't even catch that. If you look at the average highest earning families in this country, it's literally the opposite of who has the highest single family households. Only 14% of Asian households are single parent households. And guess what? They're the highest earning families on average in this entire country. Only 30% of white families have single parent households. They're the second highest earners. 50% of Hispanic families, and they're the third highest earners. And guess what? The men and women in the group of black men and black women who are most likely to support feminism and not need no man and be independent, who are most likely to be MGTOW and go their own way and do their own thing and not worry about these chicks or these double X's or these bad bras who are ruining their life, guess what? They're the lowest earning households in the entire country. They're literally synonymous with each other. Literally synonymous with each other. And then, even if you break it down and you take the family aspect out, again, Asian women, the highest earning women in the country, they're most likely to be married, least likely to have single parent families. White women, again, least likely to have single parent families, most likely to be married. Flip that upside down. It's the same thing. Same thing on the other side with the men. Asian men are the highest earners, and they're also the most likely to be married and have a family. White men, the second highest earners. They're the most likely to be married and have a family. Then you have black, Hispanic men, and then you have black men. So these things attract. There's clearly a synonymity with going your own way, being a feminist, okay, or being MGTOW, do your own thing, and being broke, and being unhappy, and being by yourself, and not having a family, and fighting over kids. Where is the benefit to this? Where is the positive to this? Other than being able to be selfish your entire life and do whatever the hell it is you want. See, the reality is, modern feminism and modern MGTOW is the part of the same agenda that they tell you they're fighting against. They tell you they're fighting against the agenda of patriarchy, but everything in patriarchy was not bad. I repeat, they tell you they're fighting against the agenda of patriarchy when they tell you to go and be a feminist, but everything in patriarchy wasn't bad. As a matter of fact, I would argue the only thing that was really bad with patriarchy was the fact that women didn't have any rights. So if you gave the women their rights, right? The right to work, the right to vote, okay, the right to start their own business, the right to basically be a citizen, what the hell else was wrong with patriarchy? I'll wait. And how has it helped women as a whole? Again, let's look at black women, the most independent, feminist-based women in the country. How has it helped them doing that? How are they better now than they were before? They're not. Now, again, let's flip it to men. Again, MGTOW, focus on yourself. Go your own way. Do your own thing. Leave the double X's alone. They're going to ruin your life. Again, it does not translate to black men. It did not translate to Hispanic men. As a matter of fact, again, the two highest earning men are the most likely to get married and have families. I repeat, the two highest earning men in the country are the most likely to get married and have families. So what it seems like to me is all the strong and independent women are getting fucked over. What it seems like to me is all the men who went their own way went to nowhere. What it seems to me like men and women go and figure, because God doesn't make any mistakes, the universe doesn't make any mistakes, and we were put here to balance each other the hell out and help each other the hell out. This is why they say opposites attract. This is why men typically think black and white and women see the gray area, because we can make them be logical and they can make sure that we're emotionally taking care of ourselves and we're looking at things as a whole and not being so damn black and white we become freaking dictators. Making sure we're taking care of ourselves, making sure we're getting checkups. That's why we live longer with them. They give you a reason to want to earn more money. When you have kids, you have a woman, you have a reason to want to earn more money because you want to take care of your family. So guess what? Generally, the two men who plan on having families earn more money. Isn't this making sense? Is this not logical to y'all? Okay? And again, on the women's side, 50% of women in America identify themselves as being unhappy. You won't even see black women smiling most of the time because they're overworked and overstressed. They're overworked and overstressed. They're raising all the damn kids by themselves, and even if they don't have any kids, they go home, they got their cat, they got their dog, they don't got no one else. They're gonna tell you they okay, they're gonna fake like they don't care, but it's not the truth, it's cap, it's false bravado. They are not happy. There's statistics all over the place showing you that they're not happy. They're on here all the time bitching, where the real men are at, because they're not happy. So how has it helped them? In what way has it helped them? Again, the earning potential ain't even there still. And they've been on this road for the last 60 years, and the earning potential still isn't even there. So how has this helped them? How has it benefited them? How has it made them happier? How has it made them stronger? How has it made them better? It hasn't. It's just made them overworked, overstressed, and lonely. That's what it does. It's eliminated their ability to effectively have a family. It's eliminated their ability to effectively be married. And that's pretty much all it did. On the men's side, yeah, you're free of kids, assuming you didn't have any. But if you did, your ass on child support. But guess what? No companion, no one to push you, no one to take care of your health, no one to balance you out. So again, how has this helped anybody? See, the agenda right now is separation. Feminism MGTOW movement will both tell you they're going against the agenda. They're not. They're going with the agenda. The agenda right now is separation. The agenda right now is to pull you two apart. Now, I can get further into why that is, but that'll be a whole nother video where I break that down. But if you look, literally, if you stand back, you take the biases out of it, and you look at the black community, and you look at feminism, and you look at MGTOW, and you look at the men who've been going their own way for 60 years, and you look at the women who have been strong and independent over the last 60 years, they ain't doing so hot, and their community is an absolute mess. So why would you pick up these practices? Now, that's not to say you can't get anything good from MGTOW or feminism. Of course, there's a little bit of truth in everything. But to have that as a life philosophy, I'm going to be strong and independent. I don't need no man. To have as a life philosophy, I'm going to go my own way. I ain't going to deal with these women because then I'll have a higher earning potential. I'll be a better man. It does not work. Show me an example of it working. A real life example on a big, large radius of people. Because I showed you an entire community where it didn't work. So you can't show me one person. I want you to show me a community of men who don't deal with women outside of anything but sex. And they're doing way better because of it. And then I want you to show me a community of women who don't deal with men for anything but unless they want to have a child, and then they raise that child on their own, and they're doing way better as a result of it. You won't be able to do it. But I can show you two communities where the women went their own way and the men went their own way, and they're failing and they're struggling, and they're the worst off financially in the entire country. I can show you that. So when I say MGTOW It's not a philosophy that young men should be following. That's why. When I say feminism is a philosophy young women shouldn't be following, that's why. I don't talk up my ass. I back everything up I'm saying with facts. I don't just talk out my ass. This is research. This is proven. I am Malix and I am out. Peace.